Hello, and welcome to issues number 21 of Comicentric. I am your host, Cruz, and on today's show, we have our good friends Suemi and Steve Guerra, Suicidal Goldfish and Enkyskulls, respectfully. They come into the studio today to talk about their new collaboration, Las Fakes, a zine adapted into a comic where Suemi, the writer, and Steve, the artist, put their minds together and create something very interesting and very eclectic. So sit back and enjoy the show as we bring you Suicidal Goldfish and Enkyskulls next.
Let's just get to the nitty gritty of this conversation.
That's funny because this week's I think it might be that's the conversation for the podcast.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ezra Miller is still cult leader.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. And we're recording, by the way. So
Oh sorry, I was very sorry.
Oh my!
Ezra Miller's the best thing. Warner Brother, I love you, and DC, yeah, cool.
Okay. And for those who don't know, we are on a beautiful Saturday morning with our good friends Suemi and Steve.
Yes.
And this guy,
Yeah.
Peter.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys doing this morning?
We are doing great.
I'm in a comic book shop, so it's like amazing right now.
You got smiles on your faces?
Yeah.
We are just excited to be here for the first time in forever at Nostalgia Comics.
Seriously, you haven't seen the new store, huh?
No, and it's just amazing. Thank you for the invite.
No,
so
thank
we're
you.
very excited to be here this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
It's like a candy shop for me, so I'm just like, I'm here present at the podcast, but I'm like looking far away from it. Like, I don't have that one. I need that.
That's fine. We'll let you set free in a bit so you can go and see what you need to buy.
I already saw a few things. So.
You saw. All right, so I mean, you guys are here on your first time in a podcast.
Yeah, this will be our first time.
Reasons you guys are here, we're both separate, but the same thing. You're a zinester, Suemi.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
You're uh-huh.
Oh, and I do Suicidal Goldfish.
And
And I also do Less Fakes, our new comic book. This is the reason why we're here.
to promote that. And Steve.
I'm Enkyskulls at everything on all social media. Enkyskulls, ENKY.
NKY.
But other than that, we pretty much do plush toys. We do our own designs as well as we help other artists create their own designs as well. So
Cool.
like we help them since we have me and my wife. We work in the industry for the last 10 years, I want to say.
Okay.
Probably more between both of us. We help other designers kind of like that are starting up that can go to China and like get like 1 million done.
Yeah.
We like to do like small, like 24 or less.
That's
and
cool.
then we help them like cost down things and tell them the reality of the whole like making plush, making toys and all stuff.
You,
like
you
that.
take the pain out of that making
Yeah.
process. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't know, like people getting their stuff stolen in China, getting
Oh,
their
yeah.
artwork stuff, and with plush, it's like the same thing, but it's the same thing, but like you need a prototype, you need
Yeah.
a pattern maker. Jessica's an amazing pattern maker. I'm good at business. That's not like
So
I'm
you-
good at talking.
you
As you see
make-
right now.
You make it in China, you end up seeing them in those crane games all of a sudden. You see
Exactly.
your,
You see it in crane games, and then like there's like people doing pins over there. You just
Yeah.
see it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I was saying Shein has it.
Wow.
So,
I love Shein, just in case.
Oh,
China,
let's
I
give
love
a
you.
shout out. What I was gonna say is, with Enkyskulls, Jessica, of course, makes Suicidal Goldfish Leon. As you know, every time you come to my table, you will see Leon showcased
In a fishbowl.
In a fishbowl with lights, and it's thanks to the work of the great Enkyskulls and their invention. So today I'm bringing a new version of Leon 2.0 because Leon debuted in 2013,
Right.
like where Suicidal Goldfish became an actual zine. And the whole purpose of Suicidal Goldfish is just the whole storyline. For me, it's like I love high school, especially girls and just growing up, and especially having more representation of Latina characters out
Yes.
there, And
Oh, I mean, everybody
Yes.
grew up watching like what's the name of the one Life something?
Oh, My So-Called
My
Life.
So-Called Life, you know.
Yes, that's her show.
I'm still waiting on the next season.
Yeah.
Because they left off on like
course.
who she'd pick,
Yeah.
who she go with, and you know sometimes comic books come and you know we now have to make up that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it up in your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually like those cliffhangers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for anyone that doesn't know what Suicidal Goldfish is, the story is basically a teenage girl living in Baldwin Hills, Los Angeles, Jefferson Park area, giving a shout out to where we grew up in. And I think it's very important to tell a story where you're like, everyone feels the same way. You have a best friend, you think you grew up with them, and you're so in love with them. You think there's a possibility that you're going to stay with them. And it happens that in our story, Violet, the person she's in love with, is her best friend. And he ends up...
You gotta read more.
Oh, yeah,
I'm buy our comic.
Yeah. Well, she's giving us a synopsis. She's giving us a
just
taste.
kidding.
It's just
Yeah,
a taste.
no worries, no worries.
I'm
That's
messing
right,
around.
Steve. And so she's so in love with him. But the thing is, sometimes people fall out of love, you
Yeah.
know, or you think you're in love with that person. But the funny thing about this story is that it starts off with her coming back from a trip and thinking that all her friends are missing her. And at the end, you know, I'm just going to keep it as a cliffhanger in a way where Leon plays a big integral part of this, her
Yeah.
pet fish. And those emotions of love and being suicidal, like you think everything is so dramatic at that moment when you're only, 14 and a half.
When you're a teenager, everything's dramatic. Yeah.
Exactly. So for her, it's like 14 and a half, I'm in love with my best friend, but now he has a girlfriend. So that's where the whole premises of this whole story. And the next day, you're going to high school. You
I
know,
know.
it's kind of like, whoa, freshman year and everything. So
Yeah, not everything's like Euphoria and 13 Reasons Why, you know?
that's so true.
Some things are new, right?
Yeah,
Some
like,
things
you
are
don't do
scary.
that. Like when you're a kid, you're just like, well, I was like, do I have enough money to buy myself a burger at fucking like
Yeah.
McDonald's? Oh, can I curse?
Yeah.
No, I was like, okay, just wondering.
That's fine. That's a question everyone asks. It's okay.
Yeah, Steve is
Yeah,
just
it's-
like so into. I mean, we're like having this conversation, but I think with Steve is so important. Like, I think representation also in our characters is like all body types and stuff, and I think it's a good way to everyone identify in some way. And you don't off the bat in this story. It's like you're just following these characters and you're just listening to Violet's voice most of the time of what she's thinking, what she's feeling, and what she's going to do next, right? But it's a crazy little adventure.
And that's just the first arc, or that's just Suicidal Goldfish.
Yeah, that's just Suicidal Goldfish in one take of, it's like 15 issues. And especially when you come to the shows, you know, like, they're all like individually with different covers.
Yeah.
And
One comes with a soundtrack.
one has a soundtrack,
Yeah,
of
issue
course.
5, I think, right?
Issue 5 is our favorite one. Yes, I mean I love all of the issues. Don't mind me, but issue 5 has like the actual official sort of like mixtape of you going to this farewell party for Leon.
Yeah. And it's like you're part of that farewell party with that CD. It's like you went to that.
Exactly.
You know, you got your souvenir from the, from the
Yeah,
eulogy.
you know how in Mexican parties, Latino parties, I won't say specifically Mexican, but in all Latin cultures, every time there's like a like a little gift bag after, you can take the flowers, you can take this. And I was always thinking like, well, you know what? I always love making mixtapes, mix CDs and Steve knows this.
I mean, like for me, like for a kid, like that was my, like, you know, your love notes to your people that you like the most, you know.
Yeah.
You make them a mixtape. And we lived in that little Crescent area where technology went from like your
Cassettes.
cassette tapes and you're like looking for the songs on the radio to CD and then also MP3s. And then, you know, obviously ripping stuff off from like, you know, Napster and LimeWire and stuff. And
Now
you're
it's all streaming, right?
Yeah, now it's all streaming. Now you have Spotify where you can just make a list there and send it to people.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's a lot different now than
Yeah.
waiting for hours for that
But
song
making
to
a
come
tape
on.
or making a CD, that was part of the fun. You would
Yeah.
waste a whole afternoon doing something like that,
Exactly.
I want to add to all of this nostalgia is that it's true what Steve says, because the thing about this whole Suicidal Goldfish the music is very important. Like for me, music, writing. I don't write music, but I always wanted to be in a band. So this is my own way of getting myself into being in a band. We'll talk a little bit more about Las Vegas, and that's the more you read about Violet, Ingrid, and Tecladito Girl. A big shout out to Tecladito Girl, because I mean, she doesn't have a name. I know a lot of people ask me, "What's her name?" We don't know if we'll reveal, but what do you think, Steve?
I'm trying to get them to, because Suemi likes what's the name of that the director that
I
he likes
love
so much?
Wes Anderson.
Yeah, Wes Anderson.
He's my
And none of them
favorite
have like names.
director.
Yeah.
There. So she was like, no, well, this is a little too long for people to pronounce. Let's shorten it out. Let's do Vivi, man.
This, so for the people that want to, learn more about Suicidal Goldfish, its soundtrack, I want to say like that first song that you hear is the entire, it's Lost Forgotten Fairy Tales, and it's actually a cover song from. It was covered by Guy Fantastico. And for the young people, it was on MySpace. I heard this song and I will follow him.
I mean older people.
For the young people, MySpace.
For you 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, we're in MySpace.
Yeah.
Remember Friendster, guys?
Yes, shout out to that too. But so I will follow his music on MySpace. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like, we're older now. We're revealing how,
Remember you put
but it's
like
great.
those MIDIs on Angel Fire?
That's true.
Oh man.
Oh my god, yes. The interesting thing about this whole dynamics of writing something, I don't know, it was one Christmas, and I wanted it to put the actual version of Guy Fantastico on this mix CD for people to listen to. I wanted them to hear like the xylophone little thing, or this little thing that is just so beautiful, the way they play that song. And I think in my way is like, hey, let me email this singer and see if he still has the song, because I wanted to let him know that I really appreciated like the sound of it, the way he made it. So when you hear the procession scene or you read it, it's that feeling of walking, and Leon is like really there. You're feeling it, like, and saying long goodbyes are hard. So I really like the way he sings it. So I was super lucky that somehow he found it in some random, like in his computer, or like a computer drive or something.
Wow.
And he just sent me the MP3. I don't even know if I have it still, but in that mix CD, that's what makes everything so magical in that whole like issue 5.
That's that one thing about that is that, I don't think he never really released that other than you releasing it on your own, which is good.
You're the only distributor of that right now. That's fine.
Well, I don't know, but I still love it. Oops, I hope I don't
Guy
get in trouble.
Thank you.
No, it's a good thing though. I mean, you're spreading it out there. You're still showing people that it's good music.
Also, it shows people that, hey, like, DM your favorite bands. You never know what you'll get.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
Some of the, especially the smaller ones, like, they're nice. And, they'll not give you stuff, but give you advice, whatever. It's no. What you're gonna? The only thing that you could fear is that they say no, and that's it. Call it a day.
Move on to the next.
But we gotta spread. let's spread some love for Guy Fantastico. If he's still out there, yes.
You didn't even know he's still out there, right?
I hope he is. I remember buying like one of his cassette tapes and stuff
There's
a while back.
like he's like opening up a suitcase, puts on his cape again,
And I hope-
gets back to the music industry.
Yeah, friends, please buy his CD. His tapes. We need them back. Just kidding.
So that's Suicidal Goldfish, and now we're gonna move on to Las Flakes.
Las Fakes,
Like
yes,
fakes.
yeah, Las Fakes. No, there you go, right? The thing about Suicidal Goldfish, just a little gist of it. Girls out there, the girls create a band just to get to a boy. That's the reason, and that's the reason why they create a fake band. And that's why they call themselves Las Fakes, because they didn't really have a name. And Tecladito Girl is the only true musician in this. I just have to elaborate because Violet could play some guitar, but she's a little rusty. Ingrid is just trying to be singer. So this is, I leave a big cliffhanger at the end of issue 15. I thought not the series, but I thought the book was going to end there. but these characters kept coming back in my mind. And this is where Steve is gonna laugh, because I went to this. There's this character that's called violinist virtuoso, and there was this guy that I would see at this concert hall, and he will play the violin in the front.
Oh.
So we will always get like concert tickets to go see. It was just like a random like musical group or whatever. And he was like, so like he will sit in the front, like, I know, what is this people call the violinist, or the first violinist, or
First chair.
first chair.
Yeah.
He had like the biggest
Pretty
important
much.
part, and this guy was a little sloppy too. He would wear his white shirt, and he would like
Oh.
have his hair down. It was pretty funny. But it's very like almost like violinist virtuoso is kind of like a homage to this person. I never met him. I just saw him every time we would go
Yeah.
to this event, and that's where I took that character from. And violinist virtuoso Steve makes so much good service for him on our comic book. Now he made illustrations called Las Fakes
For the first issue.
for the first
And
issue.
then I try to help with the little spiciness here and there. Because we're like,
that's
okay,
what-
we're moving on now from teenage years to like more like teenage years. So and I'm a big fan of like K dramas. So I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we need to add just a little bit of more like and spice into this, so that we could like really show what these characters are feeling
Yeah.
emotionally,
Yeah.
and and also get those moments that kind of will reflect to the reader itself. Like
Yeah, because
everybody
you're the
has
one that's
those
drawing it, by the way,
moments.
people
Yeah.
don't know. You're the one that's drawing it. And so you're actually paneling it.
Yeah. So what I did with when it comes to the comic book, I did a lot of research on different styles, and I was just looking for that one style that's like that still keeps that homage to the sinners.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
called sinners, right?
The
Zinesters.
Yeah.
And where everything's handmade. So what I did with the backgrounds was pretty much I went near my neighborhood and just took tons of pictures, and then I was like, I'm gonna use these pictures as the backgrounds, and I just took them on my phone.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff in it, you'll see that it has a lot of like real day objects. I just
Yeah.
turned black and white and then put them on the characters themselves.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that. I was like, oh, I was thinking you got stock photos, but no, you actually went around your
Yeah.
neighborhood.
So I went through my neighborhood and I was just like,
Yeah.
Jessica, my wife, Jessica, drive. And I'm like, just taking photos of everything. And then any kind of background scene, LA scene, I was like, I'm gonna take pictures of everything. I wanted to go to the 6th Street Bridge, but that's closed.
Yeah.
You have to be you have to be. I went and I did a video there actually the other day, but it was like in the evening where there's nobody. But
Yeah.
if you go any later than that, there's like always something happening there.
Yeah.
But I want to bring that to the next comic book, bring all those stuff. So I'm always taking pictures on my phone on everything, because that's what I told Jess. So when she goes to a concert, take pictures, because then I need the audience, I need this, I need that, like
Okay.
exactly. Like, I want that part of the sin life of backgrounds being, it's kind of like how she has her covers and whoever they get
Yeah.
different magazines and they put everything together. So I wanted to have almost that same like mosh posh look to it.
It's more like a cut
Yeah.
and feel kind of collage that he
Yeah.
wants to
Have
embrace, like, so it won't be so much like
That's why I was
just
like,
comic book.
like not having it too perfect, not having it too
Exactly.
clean, just having it where it looks like you're drawing right on top of the paper.
On top of the photo or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what are you using for that?
I'm using Photoshop. I tried using Paint, that new program Painter, but it was like one of those things when you're doing Photoshop and you put a new program, it takes a little while to actually get a hand in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna stick with Photoshop, what I know, and actually finish things I need to finish.
Okay.
But how do you call it? It took a while to get the styling of the characters and just bringing them to life. I remember sending Suemi like tons of drawings, like, hey, does this look okay? Or I'll be like, okay, I'm not happy with this, I need to redo it, and it took me almost like, I want to say like a year, maybe,
year.
just to get, because sometimes also you're afraid to put pen to paper
Yeah.
and actually as an artist, and I bet
Yeah.
everybody has it, when you have like a brand new sketchbook, you don't want to do
Ruin
anything
it?
in it.
Yeah.
And you start
Yeah.
drawing, you're like,
I guess.
like it's just a circle. You just put it away, and it keeps coming. The same thing happened here, where it was like I kept putting it away, and I kept putting inspiration, and a lot of the inspiration that I started coming out was like, I went to see like what Mexican sinners or science doing, like how they're the way that they draw the characters, and then I went to like since I like K dramas, went to the Korean. I was like, hey, I'll do those look like webtoons, and then I was like, okay, let's combine them, and it was that's where the combination of the eyes and the faces are coming from. Like it was just a combination of just seeing what was out there, and just putting it together in Mosh Press, and also like, okay, I could draw this now. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, I could do things a little simpler.
So that's also how you're putting the zine together, or the background. You're putting it all like like it's the same with the characters. That's interesting.
same.
You know what I wanted to add to all this conversation, because what I was going to say is that for Les Fakes, when I ended up introducing it in 2019, it actually was my last zine event at LA Zine Fest, and before everything kind of shut down.
Right.
So I was just writing, and I was trying to figure out a good cover, and I didn't want to do like a collage. I kept doing one, but I wasn't too happy with it, and that's when I asked my brother. I was like, hey, is it okay if like you create a cover for it, like actually draw it out? And that's how we started this whole relationship. Les Fakes already has like 3 issues out, like but to be quite frank is that momentarily I needed somebody that kind of got the gist of who the characters were. And so, what a perfect
I've been
way.
talking to Suemi
we've
forever.
It's
I'm
true.
like locked
It's
in the same
so
house
true.
for 2020.
Yeah, 2020 we're locked in the same place, and yes, and we were creating this idea at that moment. We were just kind of starting off like, yes, are we going to do this, or what are your ideas? But Steve has many ideas, as you can see, where he gets every little aspects, and so
and I that's why
this.
like whenever she tells me like, why'd you do this? I was like, oh no, I have reasons why I did that. Like I'll give you like background. I was like, hey, this is the feeling that I'm trying to emote. Because sometimes when she writes, she's writing through just like letters, and then when I'm doing the comic books, I'm actually emoting the emotions of how you're gonna see it. And I kept telling her, hey, look at movies, like tell me the scenes, like hey, take pictures of maybe there's a show that you like, take a picture of the scene, because those are the things that like I need as inspiration, like what you're feeling when you're seeing this.
But let me interrupt him for a moment. What I was going to also say is that it's really interesting to work with somebody else, especially when you have everything in words. And then you're like, okay, you project your characters in a certain way, and you're just like, oh, this is the way they're going to move, or this is. But then somebody else comes into the picture that has, oh, I see it this way. So learning how to have the middle ground in everything. And that's what I've been learning. I'm learning how to be more like, okay, let's see, listening, being much more of a better listener, and learning how to create an actual script in comic book form, because I've never done that before.
Just like little by little, I started seeping into the writing, just because I started seeing it. Once you see it live in the head, I was like, and I started reading over. I was like, hey, this is when I'm drawing it. This is what's emoting. The guy character that you like is looking like a jerk right now.
Our good guy, yes. Oh my
There's a scene in there where he's like seeing her.
We love Ray too. I love Ray too much. Okay, get into that.
Okay, so there's a scene with Ray, which is the main character of that Violet likes, and
from Suicidal Goldfish.
They're going to this party, and this one they're going to a party.
Yes.
For a Sweet 16, and they're gonna set up like all their equipment and all stuff. He walks in kind of like all nonchalantly. And when I read it, and I told her like he comes in nonchalantly, he knows he's already dumped her.
Yeah.
Yes.
He knows that he already picked the person, and then this guy's just coming in and just like, okay, I'll hold your stuff, I'll take your stuff over there, like
right.
It's like there's something that she says about like about a sweater, like. I'm gonna go get a sweater for you.
He was being a gentleman. That's what I was putting it. I put it
in my head. I was like, no, he's already like decided.
Yeah.
Like he's already like when I'm drawing it, I'm like, he's already made that decision that he's not gonna be with her. He's already made that decision that after this, like the reason he's asking her, to talk after this show is that she's gonna tell her the truth.
But
but in her
Violet's
mind,
Yeah.
she's thinking like, "Oh,
this is it. I'm gonna have a boyfriend at the end of this
So,
event.
but if I left the part where it was like he's just like being all nice, being all this, all that, he looks like such a
Jerk,
jerk.
absolutely.
Sure.
It's
Yes.
like he knows his way. So in this one, I put it like more like question mark, kind of like he doesn't want to touch her hand because she said like at the end of it they were holding hands all the way in.
Yes,
like
I
you wouldn't
did.
do that if you
No.
already found someone new
Oh.
and already decided not to. That's like leading
Yeah.
them into thinking. So I was like, no, he's gonna find a way to like move back a little bit,
Yeah.
grab onto something.
Believe
to,
me,
like,
there was
oh,
a lot
let's
of
fucking-
tears on this part. Like a
fought
lot
her.
of tears.
Yeah.
Like I fought Suemi.
Yes,
like, during that whole time,
on our Zoom.
she was telling me like, no. I was like,
Yes.
no, you're gonna make him look like a jerk. You want to keep him to at least have some. Like you can't do that.
You know what also occurred? I will just let you all know is that because I was still stuck on Suicidal Goldfish. So where Ray is that main character. Ethan in that Suicidal Goldfish, he was like your best friend, and then he turned bad guy. Or
Yeah.
he wasn't really a bad guy. I don't want to say that the guys in Suicidal Goldfish were bad guys, but the thing is, everybody's going through so much emotions here. Like this whole story is all about emotion and bringing that whole little aspect of people, together somehow. But in Las Vegas, Ray becomes like that whole turnover, just a very different character, and that's what I was trying to fight off. Still be that cool guy, we all like you, but then he's still kind of like,
Yeah.
But
There's
it's one of those things where it's like you have somebody, but then you're kind of keeping the other person in
Yeah.
on hold because it's like never know what this is gonna happen. At least I have the other one on the string. And,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want him. If you want him to be like next level, then okay, we have to move and.
but
get
now
to
we're
that.
getting into like
I
relationship
know.
aspects. Oops,
Right.
my bad, comic book.
That's where I said there's a drama in it.
There's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, because that plays a big part towards the end because he sees him with him and she, drops everything and takes off, right?
Oh my god, we're giving, yes, and I love that.
And that's the thing there. When you're writing it, you don't see it, but
Yeah.
when you're drawing it, you see it.
Yeah.
And you can you could write as much as you want, but when you like physically seeing it for a few notes, like you just see the pictures, you're like, oh, I understand what's
And
happening
just
right
to
there.
put in a little more thing here with Tecladito Girl is so awesome in this whole aspect of this first issue because Violinus Virtuoso is her cousin. And of course, this family doesn't have names. And when Steve decided to narrow it down because he's like, Violinus Virtuoso is too hard to pronounce sometimes, but he shortened it to Vivi.
Vivi.
So now you call him Vivi.
I
And
don't
I'm
know
like,
about
wow.
you, but me saying that like
I love
10
it.
times at the same time, I can't do it. Imagine a smaller kid be like, blah, 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 so the,
Violinist Virtuoso.
I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I can't do it, I know I'm shorting Vivi. Perfect.
But it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Still not his name, but that's it.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's short for.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
I think we threw it in there, even though
Oh, yeah, I
originally,
threw it in
we
there.
finally threw it in there. So this is, even though she called him her nemesis, Violinus Virtuoso, now starting from this point on is going to be Vivi.
I had the other character literally just go like, really, it's Vivi.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it's one of those things that's another thing where we have to cooperate. I know it's her writing, but I need to also be like, oh no, don't use rat. I don't use that rat anymore.
Oh, yes, I use rad. And
No,
that
it was like rock and
that.
roll, like
Oh, rock and roll.
okay.
Well,
It's like,
I mean-
like I was like maybe in the 70s they used
Yeah.
it.
Oh, come on.
I think they use something else now, but okay.
Red is so cool.
Yeah, I say red all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, thank you, comic guys.
Yeah, I'll be like
Yeah.
Terminator dudes.
There you go.
So yes.
It's all right. We're in California.
Yeah, exactly. We get the right to say
Yeah.
tubular.
Yeah.
Even though I've never been to surfing,
No.
I don't know how to swim, but damn it, I'll say it. Tubular.
It's in your California
Funny.
ID. It says it right there.
I'm like, bunga dudes.
And then in the bag, it's like the benefits of being in California.
Yeah, you could say radical.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tubular.
Is it
Yeah.
You
Oh,
say
okay.
radical, you get to go in and out.
Dude, in and out.
Right.
I think that's the only food you could go to like a fancy place and they still look at you like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
In and out. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how most of that's how we went on with the next with this one, where it was a lot of more like giving and giving out. And also another thing that I learned, like, because I was also having a learning curve.
Yeah.
Because like I've never made a comic book.
Yeah.
I read a lot of comic books. I read a lot of manga. I read a lot of like I call it webtoons, and everyone does their does the style of their like I call it their panels differently. Like for webtoons, it has to be a certain angle. For manga, it's a different style where you have large splashes, and there's like a lot of like how do you call it like I guess more the lines that define the panel are just like
The texture?
Texture, and also like the panels like melt into whatever. Like it's really a weird thing to see sometimes, but like if you read a lot of manga, you'll see like okay, like that's all, and that's what I did. Where when I did my paneling, I was like I wanted to make some traditional, but also like give it a little more manga where I have a big splash face when you see all the characters. But still like kind of like breaking in the other panels as they kind of drop down.
Yeah,
so
because some do like kind of overlap each other and stuff like that. Yeah,
and like I said, like the next stage of that is obviously I'm going to learn better and I'll get better, and I already got more ideas of how to do different paneling as well as a lot of people don't think about it, but the little I call it the bubbles. Like everybody has their own style of bubbles, and especially in manga, the bubbles are very interesting the way they do, because sometimes they tell you time, sometimes they tell you a sequence of something. It's something weird about like how the way that the way they do it, that's differentiated with the American comic book. So, American comics were like, this is what it is like. But when you see manga, and it's starting to leak into American comic books there, but still, like you see it, and that's why I was trying to do like, hey, let's see how this is the afternoon, like how would the afternoon look, and how would I make it that way, and I'll try my best to do it, but like I say, I'll get better little by little as I learn more.
So are you working on 2 already, or is it?
I need the screen. I need her to write down the.
Right now, I'm working on. Even though we have like the second book, I'm still working on like the actual format of it, like the script for it. So hopefully we'll be kind of like somewhere in the fall or something.
Okay.
That might be, but depending, like the time and everything. But like I said before, like right now we already have these 2, and at the same time, it's like what Steve says. It's like both of us working together. A lot of Zoom calls, a lot of like, this the way you want to do it, and a lot of Google Google Slides, and us sharing and putting ideas and rewriting and working things out, and also learning like especially what Steve was saying about bubbles. Like when you write it just like in story form, you're putting way too much words. Yeah. So now it's me more learning how to break it up, or exactly like more conversation. One character could
have this huge conversation. It's like the whole panel's a bubble now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's still going on. He's not a bad guy.
Exactly.
And he's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's just talking about what he's doing. So I was like, we need to break that down into like spaces. Into even if another character is gonna talk, like break it down so that another person talks and we know who's talking.
Okay.
And
that's easy to say, but how are you doing with that though?
With which way?
Breaking it down that way.
That's my next challenge. That's where we're at right now. Okay. Yeah,
that's where we're both like as she's writing it and she's putting it on a script form. I'm telling her, okay, we gotta break this.
Now I'm starting to watch more videos of how to actually comic book writers. Now I'm like looking more into what they write and how they create them, in order for me to make a better service for Steve. So when he starts like sketching it out and stuff and start creating these panels, it's much better. It's like a better flow, because like the whole script. Well, on that second one, obviously there's not a script yet. I'm just like working on it to kind of like read it over and start kind of like making it small chunks and giving him as much detail. So and also taking the pictures, because it's more like this whole Las Fakes. It's like with Steve and I, like we grew up together going to a lot of shows. So basically this entire storyline of Las Fakes has like these bad girls, but they're not like they're your favorite band, but now they become your enemy somehow. They're like your rivals. Never meet your favorite people sometimes. So the Lizzies are like that.
When I was like in elementary school, Suemi was like junior high and high school.
Junior high, yeah.
Suemi like really liked going to the rock and roll in Español scene.
Yes.
So she would she'll take me to all these.
I needed an extra friend to go with me.
Very like like all these bands, like what was it, Pastilla,
We love Pastilla.
was Surdo, all these,
Zurdo,
like all these like underground
Phobia.
Gray something. I don't
We
remember
have
that.
we had so
A lot of
many
people are
bands we
gone
loved
now.
to see.
But we used to go like
Maria
like,
Fatal.
yeah, like the Sunset Strip. Go to, was it the?
We spend a lot of
Roxy?
time in Hollywood.
Nice.
The Roxy.
Some of the theaters
The
aren't
Knitting
even around
Factory.
anymore.
The Knitting Factory was
Okay.
one of the biggest places
But-
we will go to.
We go see all these bands, and like it's one of those things where like there is like when it's a small band, it's really easy to meet them, talk to them, and I mean was friends with a lot of them. And I was just a kid, so I was just like, okay, cool, following them.
I think
Some giving me
Steve-
beer at like elementary
Yeah,
school
you
level.
know,
I was
exactly.
Like, I was like, huh? I mean,
think-
my brain wasn't in that. I was like, what?
I'm gonna add one thing.
Getting hit on by
Steve was
very
able.
old women.
Oh.
The older women, but you
I
know,
was, I didn't even know until these fools
I
told
think
me.
it all, when it ended up
what's
happening.
happening?
Let
Oh
me
my
tell
God.
let me tell you guys
my
this
God.
one story though.
They're drunk.
When
That's
we,
what Steve was young and a fool, and
oh
I
no,
was-
you were kind of like in like you were like in probably 5th grade or probably 6th grade.
I was like,
don't
"Where's my
remember.
crayons?"
Our first real band that we went to see was Maná, but it was
Oh, nice.
because
That's when they had the Teclarito
that
boy.
Teclarito boy, yes, that's
Before
where
they
this whole
left.
obsession started. And
Yeah.
then when he left, Ivan, he was so awesome playing keyboard. So there's where Teclarito girls kind of like
Origin.
origin
Maná,
started.
the forum, they have a.
Oh, well, now everybody loves Maná now, right? But when we saw them for the first time, it was at the Palace in Hollywood. Is the
Wow.
Palace in
Yeah,
Hollywood
I don't
even
think
there?
so.
Are there
Wow.
yet? Oops.
No.
None of the
Okay,
places we know.
so,
like,
and that's
Roxy's
where my
gone.
whole fascination
Many
with,
factories
exactly. These places don't even exist anymore. Oops. Oh, my bad. I got too excited about music. You see, so you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, but that's like the thing about when it comes to this book, and we're showing like things like at later on you'll find out there's this whole big scene with like helicopters and everything.
Oh, yeah.
and that actually
Yeah.
happened.
and
to
that
us
really
at a show.
happened
Oh, really?
in
Yeah.
Highland Park.
We almost got arrested.
And that
We
has
had
to do
run
with
away.
Javier,
Oh, yeah,
another
Javier
comic book
was-
person
Javier
that we
Hernandez
love.
was involved in this
What
one.
the- okay.
And we had
Our
I had
favorite band, Los Abandoned, was
my
there.
friend's band. Was it
Madripoor
Madripoor?
at the time.
Or Madripoor or Montenegro?
Oh, Montenegro. I don't know. They
Okay,
changed their name all
their
the
name
time.
so many times.
Oh.
His name is Kinsky Gallo, and he went in first and started going crazy with everybody.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden,
actually, what occurred was it's like this is what really.
Okay, okay.
This is a
Here's the
version of
beef,
it.
here's the beef.
No, it's not the real beef.
it's been
but
enough. It's been 30 years.
It's been 30 years. No, but what happened
The
was
truth can be
that
told.
we created like an event. I really love putting things together.
Some bands
like
didn't
events.
come with instruments.
Yes. Oh my God. So there was a band that didn't come with instruments, but let's not get into the gist of what happened exactly. But when
Eagles flared.
when you involved, when you involved a lot of like bands that you really care about, right? And especially like when you're starting out and you're trying to create this special feeling of everything. This is where the whole teenage
Kids will mosh
teenage-
at anything.
like, and you're just so excited to be their first concert, the excitement, and these were like amazing bands, and just to get one of your favorite bands on the bill, like Los Abandoned, were huge at the time. And when I asked them, I mean, they were doing a backyard unsupervised,
Super unsupervised.
unsupervised
I was there.
show, and the fact that they were cool about doing this, it gives me so much love and heart for your favorite bands to come
Yeah.
out there and do this. But when it's unsupervised, there's a lot of drinking and a
Legality.
lot of things that happen. But and it had involved comics. It involved
Oh, yeah, it was a
one of
comic
our
book shop,
it
too.
was a comic. They were debuting some shoes.
What?
They were debuting some shoes. This little store in Highland Park. I don't even remember. It was just so like interesting.
It was like a little swap meet, and inside there was a store.
It was
within
a
the
little
store.
store. Yeah.
And they were having this huge event outside.
It was
in the
and
back.
we were supporting El Muerto that day,
Okay.
and we were just bringing like different bands.
Oh, man.
We're part of it. So all I could say is read Las Fakes, and you will see a little gist of it. But yes, overall, like some kids were moshing and everything. And it got a little carried away with some arguments, and it went into the neighborhood. And so
Oh.
that's when the cops came and the helicopters. And my favorite singer, Pilar, a shout out to Pilar out there. She looks so beautiful, and all you could see is the helicopter lights flashing on her.
Oh, yeah, Suemi's not giving you justice. This is
No,
what happened.
but
Okay,
no,
so
this is-
the
but I don't
last
know, I
band.
don't
Okay,
think-
wait. The last band played.
I don't think
They got a
need
little
to know much
aggressive.
more.
It's like
Oh, man.
Woodstock '99 style.
Oh man.
No.
They got aggressive,
Oh.
and I call it. All these kids ran off. I guess they were
Well,
from different high
it
schools.
was
Someone got
just
their ass kicked too
different.
with background music.
It was a lot. It was
and
a lot.
then
I don't really know what.
Suemi's dramatizing a little bit. But then Suemi,
Well, that's the part.
Suemi's
of being a
favorite band was
teenager.
Abandoned. Was just about to play.
Yeah, they were about to
and
play.
They had all
Everybody
their
was
stuff.
there.
They were, I mean, professionals. Like
They
I
were
said.
awesome. They were beautiful in every way.
And the minute like that first guitar thing went through, and
Yeah.
then helicopters
Helicopters.
everywhere.
What?
Oh,
Okay.
Just
damn.
beaming down at them, like stop
And we-
playing.
Yeah, and we all had to
And-
stop for reals because, or else people were gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
And
You guys know Bernice, right?
Yeah,
Bernice, okay.
yeah.
So she had the Beetle, the car, the Beetle
I
car.
don't know.
Like, so it's this Beetle, the old school Beetle
Yeah.
car, not like the old school, but the ones from the
90s?
2000s. Yeah, 90s.
Yeah.
It was like that blue. She
Yeah.
had one of those little cars, and she had brought all of us in. And then my little brother was there.
Yeah, he was
which is our
underage,
little
and that
brother age.
was.
So then
Oh.
we were all
That was-
underage except for Suemi.
Oh.
So
And
then the
perhaps
minute
Bernice too.
and Bernice was there, and then the minute that everything hit, actually no, I wasn't. I was.
You were not
I was
underage.
underage. I wasn't. My
It
brother was.
My little brother was.
And then
it.
we all had to run to her car and
Yeah.
drive in, and then we got lost in the
It was
mountains.
like we were like in this Freddy Krueger thing that it kept going over and
I
over.
was
It was
like,
like, oh no, it
my
was
And
a
then
crazy.
we ended
night.
like at the end of some like mountain, and I was like, everything was dark. It was like, I was like,
So-
oh, this is how it all starts, you know?
So at the end, what I was gonna just add in all this is that that's the whole passion about being, young
Yeah,
and
yeah.
seeing your favorite bands and you getting to have these great relationships with them and for them to do these little things for you that they didn't have to, but they were so amazing. And then back in the day, there were like chat rooms, and I had to go on the chat thing and apologize to everybody to what happened because I was part of their street team.
Oh.
So they kind of like, and everybody said it was the great night and everybody had a great time. And I was like, oh my goodness. I thought later on throughout the years, we had never discussed with the singer of Los Abandoned what she thought about what happened that day. But everybody has a different perspective of what happened
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
day. And she said she even wrote a song about it. It was like my favorite
Oh.
band or something. And I was just like, oh, because of that night. And I was just like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So after all that drama and everything that happened, and a lot of that's going to be in Las Vegas
Yeah.
because it's
Right.
going to be
We lived through
bands.
like a lot of stuff that we
Yeah.
should not be living through, and a lot of
still alive.
Like I said, we know
We're still
like
here.
Yeah.
the whole world of the rocks, all these old places. And
Zoe,
Yeah.
Steve
Zoe.
actually was able to meet my favorite singer of Zoe.
I was like a roadie.
He was a roadie, a true roadie.
Oh.
So jealous of
and
Steve.
like I said,
Organizans.
like I said, it's one of those things where we want to add all that to the comic book, our
Yes.
experiences,
Yeah.
little by little. And I think that's why I told Suemi, always write from the truth.
Yes.
The truth is so much better than
Yeah.
trying to write
Yeah.
some Argentinian guy from I don't even know
a lot of her
who he
fans,
is.
Soda Stereo, like, okay, Gustavo Cerati is a big influence.
Yeah.
And that's why I
Sounds like
wanted Bailanes Virtuoso to be Argentinian. But she was like, right
I was
what
like,
you
I'm
know,
not gonna have
girl.
Spinetta. In there. like I don't even know his life, man.
Yes.
So I
Like-
said always. Actually, I told her like we should just be true to ourselves and write from
Exactly.
what we know
Yeah.
our own experiences,
Pretty
because
much.
we could really put the detail onto the comic.
Oh,
book
yeah,
and
for
make it
sure.
stuff.
And I just also want to say that it's kind of like our love letter to the LA, Baldwin Hills area, Jefferson Park, East
LA,
LA,
nice.
Highland Park, all of these places that before they became something that we know now, there was a time where a lot of these things we have to research and we have to look for it. Or our friends, we were so lucky that our friends will drive us there, we'll go together and all this. It's just a great time, you know?
Yeah.
And it still is. We just bringing it into this comic book level that
Yeah,
we
it's
want
like-
everyone to appreciate.
It's like
Yeah.
being an anime fan back when it wasn't cool. It was like early '90s and everything, and you had to go and videotape a videotape.
Wait, it wasn't
videotape
cool?
everything. It wasn't cool. Oh my god, wasn't it? Let me go first. First of all, no girls were ever involved with anime back in that day.
That's true.
It was all guys. And there were girls that were very tight about it. But how do you call it? Yeah, it's one of those things where like that's the kind of thing where it was like a tape of a tape of a tape. So
Yeah.
recorded, and that's the same thing
Yeah.
that I think I call it like sins are. It's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
And it's like
Yeah.
the beautiful thing about a lot of things is that music and comics go together.
Yes.
Because when we went to conventions, I will get bootleg copies of Deftones concerts from and interviews and stuff. The actual VHS.
Yeah.
And people are like, hey, this is where they play in Munich. You want to buy it? And it's a comic book guy with all his other. And I'll be like, oh yeah, can you give me your secret stash of stuff that you know? That
And then
some
when
of
you went to like
VHS.
LimeWire, you get that other secret, like,
Yeah.
hey, these are the unreleased
Yeah.
versions of this.
And you're just like, yeah, just give it to me because nobody else has it.
Before
Shout out to Deftones too. Like, we love them.
But you would get those bootlegs,
Of course, just to see the videos and just to before YouTube and
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll
You know
say-
what I mean?
Yeah.
And now everything's out there now, and you're like, wow,
You have
it's
it
so
so
great.
easy, kids. You have it so easy.
But not everything's out there. Sometimes you'll be looking for stuff that you saw back in the day, and now you won't see it, not even on YouTube.
Yeah, like those like videos that people would create of anime and they put a music video on it.
Oh,
You know what they
yeah,
call it?
yeah.
I've been looking for this one about Dragon Ball when they have like a Metallica song, the Hero of the Day.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I used to watch that all the time when I was in school. Can't find it anymore. Whoever made that, send it to me.
And I was gonna say one more thing about zines and stuff. La Banda Elástica,
Yeah.
when you would go to Ritmo Latino, like they had
My God,
video
Ritmo Latino,
cassettes.
yeah.
They were also like in
Come on, Huntington
they
Park,
were
right?
in
Right?
zine. Yeah, they were like in zine form.
Yeah.
Before they became an actual magazine.
Yeah.
So for me, there's where the love. Like at the time, I probably didn't know it was a zine. They were just giving you because I was buying a Caifanes tape that time, and they're like, "Oh, there's like this new magazine goes with this," and I just got it for free, and I was like, that's where I remember that it was cut and paste.
Yeah.
It was like these great articles, and then it became bigger.
Yeah.
Like
But
back
it was
in the day.
originally a zine.
It was a zine.
Yeah.
So you never know. Like Las Vegas could become an actual, beautiful paper comic someday with, But this is the dream, and all of you are doing it. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like it's part of one story. It's like there's many other stories out there,
Yeah.
but we're just one little pivotal point or a little tiny point of everything else
Movie?
that we want to do.
I don't know.
Oops,
I
I don't
think
know.
that was a ghost, man.
Yeah, that was weird.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I don't know.
Do
Oh,
it.
I think with the shake.
Give me a sec.
Should we check?
Should we check? This is the time where I say don't check. Just
Yeah.
let it be.
I think they wanted to
'Cause-
wrap it up.
Yeah, I know.
You want to wrap it up like that? Okay, go check. We'll be back and see
know.
that this was a ghost,
think it was just a
an
neighbor.
intruder, or if
The
you
cans.
see, or we're in jail.
Probably.
Paranormal.
Is this a paranormal event, a real
I like
event?
that we're sending her.
Don't go.
Good job, you guys.
Yeah. What was the cans? I know it was the cans.
It was a cat. No,
No,
it's
can.
a ghost. It's a ghost. It's over. Let's just pray a little bit.
can?
In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Don't follow me home. I'm good.
All right. That was scary.
Yeah.
All right.
That was
After
scary.
that brief break, thank you.
I think,
Oh.
I think Peter wants him to follow Peter home.
And for those just joining us, that was a ghost.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe. Just saying.
Yeah.
Rebecca's up to her
new
thing.
building, old building.
Yeah, an old building.
Yeah. We just
well-
discovered the ghost.
Okay, welcome to Nostalgic Paranormal Activity. Let's talk about your ghost stories.
Yeah, October's coming up.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Dog.
That's a dog.
No,
It's a
that's
dog, you guys.
The mystery solved.
Mystery solved.
All right, then. All right, so Rome's coming to an end, but
Awesome.
how can we get your zine besides going to a zine fest?
DM her.
Yeah,
DM her through
DM
Instagram?
Suicidal Goldfish Studio
Okay.
on Instagram. Just send me a little message, and I'm gonna get better of being more creating like an actual page where you go click and purchase it. But I like going to events where I meet the people and talk to
No,
them.
yeah, definitely.
And I just like getting the reactions. And when you could see people come back. Like last weekend at the Zine Fiesta,
Yeah.
one young girl came back because at the Latino Comic Festival, her friend bought issue 5 with the mix CD, and she's been waiting to borrow it from her friend, and her friend didn't even give it to her or loan it to her. So she was like, you know what? She knew I was coming to Downey at the
Nice.
museum, and she came down and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna purchase the zine
Yeah.
with the
Like a
with the
PlayStation game.
with the little
Yeah.
mix because I want to listen to it. And for me, it's just like, wow, okay, cool, thank you so much. So it's all about meeting everyone.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you're going to have it at Nostalgia Comic Shop. So,
Okay, cool.
yes, this is the first place we're going to have less fakes.
Yeah,
Yes.
able to buy it.
Yes,
gonna be
for
awesome.
sure. And sign all the copies, please.
Oh, my goodness.
all,
And signed.
all copies will be signed here in Nostalgia Comics. I'm forcing her to sign them all.
Okay, and what about you?
We're Enkyskulls at everything at Instagram.com as well as our I don't have a TikTok. Yeah, just everything's on our Instagram. Check us out. We're always posting everything that we're doing
Okay.
from drawings to plush that we're working on to other projects that we're working on with some other creators that are here, actually not here, but that are their stuff is here. So Javier, we're getting it ready. Don't worry about it.
Ah,
So we'll be working with some other creators that are making that from their own comic books.
Okay.
As well, so you'll see soon.
and one thing more. No up and coming shows right now.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Hopefully, like in the fall or something.
Okay.
But right now, like we're just coming out little by little. Like whenever people DM me and ask me, "Hey, we're having this event. Want to be part of it?" And usually I say yes. But yes, for me, it's all about community, being part of something.
Okay.
That everybody, you want to feel your voice is being heard.
Right,
You
right,
know
of
what I
course.
mean?
Well, I mean, you've been doing it for quite some time, though.
9 years now. I
Yeah.
didn't realize because we're gonna celebrate Suicidal Goldfish next year. It's gonna be the 10-year anniversary.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Yes.
We're definitely doing something special for the Suicidal Goldfish.
Yeah.
Studio.
I already
That's
have
awesome.
some ideas, and I already told her.
You can make a trade.
Yeah, we're trying to
That's
do-
what's gonna sort of happen.
We're gonna try
We're
and do-
hoping. We're like keeping our fingers crossed.
Yes, and we're gonna get
Nice.
help from other artists as well.
Wow, nice.
Neat. That sounds interesting. That's 10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary. Yes.
Okay.
And you'll get the Pokemon card too.
Oh, even better.
A 10-year, I call it
Leon.
Leon Pokemon card.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Anything else you want to add? No, we're good. We're good.
We're good. All right. Thank you so much, Nostalgia Comics,
again.
for inviting us.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank you very much.
anytime. I like talking.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you very much to anyone still listening. Have a good morning, good day, and good night. And thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Best from
Thank you. I hope.